Okay, explain it to me one more time. Why are we happy that they won? Because Montreal is a team that the Preds should beat easily with the roster that they have. Then why were you wanting them to lose in regulation to Vegas on Saturday so badly? Because despite their many injuries that a certain friend of mine will list off, they are a playoff team. Why was Dante Fabro healthy scratch tonight? Because clearly David Poile is trying to trade him because he is not working out in this defensive system. Then why wasn't Matthias Ekholm scratched today? Because as we saw tonight, when Matthias Ekholm is on his game, his trade value climbs and he's got years left on his deal. I guess it makes sense. Everybody's hands go up, way up, as the Nashville Predators defeat the Montreal Canadiens by a final score of 6-3 Tuesday night inside Bridgestone Arena. With the exception of a couple silly, stupid mistakes that they played defensively in this game, the Preds totally dominated the Canadiens like I knew they would and should. Now, if only they can stick to the plan and get a sub 500 record on an upcoming East Coast 5-game road trip and continue to improve their draft lottery chances and continue to tank. But first, let's talk about this game. Coming into this game, if you were following Preds social media and different people that follow the NHL and are insiders, there was major news concerning the Preds. First, Dante Fabro would be healthy scratched. Don't worry, I don't think Poile's going to send him down to Milwaukee and lose him on waivers. Nope, he's not that stupid to do that. No, he is resting Fabro, I think, for a possibility of a trade. So keep an eye out for that this week. Also, there was rumors from Frank Saravelli, an NHL insider, that Poile is exploring the possibility of trading Matthias Ekholm, who has team control on his contract with 3 more seasons after this one, and he will not be a free agent until the end of the 2025-2026 season. So because of that team control, a trade involving Matthias Ekholm should garner a good haul in return. And seemingly with news of that potential trade, maybe Matthias Ekholm realized going into this one, hey, maybe if I have a big game, that will help things out. It will help me go to a contender because the Preds are not one this season. And it will help the Preds be better in the future. Not that necessarily he's thinking about that, but it works hand in hand. And after 2.5 minutes into the first period, when Joel Edmondson took a delay of game penalty, the Preds would go on the power play. And it would not be until under 30 seconds left in the power play, Preds passing it around in the Canadian zone, and Matthias Ekholm takes a pass down the left wing board back to the blue line from Nito Niederreiter, and Ekholm just lets the shot go on net and tipping it in, getting his stick down under the bar, despite what the Habs feed tried to tell me because I was stuck watching it. His stick did get down in time. They called it initially a goal by Cody Glass's 3rd of the season, and upon review, I don't know why the Habs didn't have to use a challenge on it. The NHL confirmed that indeed Cody Glass got his stick down below the crossbar in time. It's a good goal. Preds 1-0 lead intact. Almost 2 minutes later, after the initial Cody Glass goal, the Preds turn it on and keep coming. A 2-on-1 into the Habs zone. You've got Philip Forsberg who just backhands it over to Colton Sissons, who easily pots it past Montembeault, giving the Preds a 2-0 lead. Just like that, nearly 6 minutes into the game. Who knew that number 9, Philip Forsberg, and number 10, Colton Sissons, could work out so well on a line together right now? Almost 5 minutes later, after the 2-0 goal, the Preds and Habs have played a portion of the game 4-on-4. The second penalty that was called was Brendan Gallagher for high-sticking Mark Janikowski. And when that penalty kicks in and the Preds are on a power play, the Preds have almost the exact same setup as their 1-0 goal. The Habs are not able to stop them. Preds set up almost the exact same way. Cody Glass in front of Montembeault providing the screen. Matthias Ekholm takes a shot from the point. This time it goes straight in. No tip required. The Preds seem to be rolling up 3-0. But seemingly As we've seen this season through 35 games, did you really think the Preds were going to get a shutout in this one? No, they don't like doing things the easy way, and they let the knuckleheads that is the Habs, kind of like Biff's stooges from Back to the Future 2, knocked them off top the head, and the Habs score in the dying minutes of the first period, making it 3-1 after one. And the Preds allow the Habs to make it a little bit closer because they don't like to take full control and keep their foot on the throat of teams that they play this season when they should easily beat them. And almost 7 minutes into the second period, it's a 2-on-1 rush. Josh Anderson keeps it and beats Saul's far side, glove side, a goal that he probably should have had. And the Habs have cut this lead to 3-2 for the Preds. And at this point, my pessimistic side is kind of thinking, good, let them back in this game. But don't you dare let this get to overtime where you get a point. Either win this game outright or lose completely in regulation. Well, apparently maybe the Preds were reading my thoughts because the ensuing portions of the second period would show that, yes, they were tired of the Habs hanging around. And it would be number 82, Tommy Novak, who would be helping put the exclamation point in this game in the second period. Just over 8 minutes into the second period, Yakov Trenin has the puck behind the Habs net, behind Malcolm Bowe, and he gets the puck out to number 82, Tommy Novak, who is untouched, quickly gets it by Martin Bowe in the Habs net, restoring the Preds 2-goal lead, now up 4-2. And then under 2 minutes left to go in the second period, Tommy Novak would remind, hey, I can score, but I can also get a sweet setup to the captain as he comes down out the right wing board and sees, hey, Roman, here you go. And Roman accepts the pass and says, hey, thanks, kid. Takes a blast, gets it through Montembeau, who is a total sieve tonight. Yeah, some goals were good screens. Some goals he probably should have had with a little better defensive help. But this one isn't. The Preds have restored their 3-goal lead, now up 5-2. The Habs with a late power play in the second period, but fortunately, the Preds do not let them convert. Impressively, the Preds stop the bleeding, at least for this game, and force the Habs to go 0-for-4 on the power play. The game not over yet, but they have their 3-goal lead after 2 periods. And then in the third period, the Yakov Trenin high stick penalty that happened at the end of the second period, that carries over to the third period, and Matthias Ekholm takes a high sticking penalty of his own 13 seconds into it, and the Preds are forced to buckle down and kill off the Habs 5-on-3, preventing them from gaining any momentum from blowing and looking like a complete joke at home, blowing a 3-goal lead. The Preds kill it off successfully, and then through a couple of Habs penalties, the Preds would get a 5-on-3 of their own, looking once and for all to put this game away, home and cool, pad the stats for different players on this team, and while they're at it, get their first of a certain type of goal that I didn't even know coming into this game they hadn't done this season. Almost 5 minutes into the third period, Preds setting up well, meticulous, careful passing, maybe a little bit too careful, looking for the perfect pass. Hopefully not going to run out of time here, but Roman Josi waits. He waits for a perfect passing lane to get her over to Matt Duchene, and despite a sliding, and it looked like he may have blocked it, David Savard, defenseman for the Habs, who comes down to block it, Matt Duchene is able to tuck it in under him before he's able to slide, beats Martinbeau, it's in the net, the Preds have a 4-goal lead, it's 6-2. Believe it or not, that was the Preds' first 5-on-3 power play goal of the season. There's a stretch in the third period after Preds go up 6-2 of about 5 minutes where there would be no whistles. Preds just looking to milk the clock. As we reach the dying 5 minutes of the third period, Preds looking to put this game home and cool to bed. But of course, as we know, the Preds don't do things the easy way, and even certain Habs players like Brendan Gallagher, who amazingly has less than 5 goals on the season, he's able to pad his stats. He gets his 4th of the season, making the game a little bit more respectable, I guess you could say, for the Habs, making it 6-3. That's as close as the Habs would come back into this one, and the game would eventually expire. Preds win this one, final score of 6-3. So there you have it, Preds Nation. Game 36 is in the books. Another game where the Preds, you would think, with their effort on the ice, would get a shutout for their goalie, but nope, they fall short. 36 games into the season without recording a shutout. That's too shy of tying the franchise record for third place ever in franchise history to start a season, to reach that game without recording a shutout. Game 41, halfway through the season, is just around the corner, guys. Please get a shutout for one of your two goalies one of these games here soon, just to say that at least you've marked that off of the list. But I digress. In this game, like I said, they killed off every Habs penalty, so I can't complain. You went 2 for 4 on the power play, so at least it improved the stats for people like Matthias Ekholm, who could be traded at any time now. With the rumors from Frank Saravalli that he was being talked about, that could mean he could be traded this week or next, or it might take until March 3rd if David Poile wants to hold out for the right trade offer. But telling you this, if he does trade Ekholm, that does mean that the Preds are giving up and possibly trying to move up to increase their odds of a high quality draft pick. And maybe they get Connor Bedard if they improve their chances, because right now I just ran an NHL draft simulator. They're still finishing 12th because their odds are much lower because they're barely out of a playoff spot. And about the playoffs, yes, I know the Preds winning a game like this against an inferior team is going to give some people hope that maybe they'll climb back into the playoff spot. Because guess who is not wanting to lock down a playoff spot? And the Preds have 3 games in hand on them. Yes, it's the Oilers, who they're 4 points back of. I wish the Oilers with McDavid and Draisaitl would get their act together, because you know eventually they're going to, because those two are high-quality young stars who know how to get it done. Right now, they're just giving teams like the Preds and others behind them hope that, oh, maybe we can play for a playoff spot too. No, you won't. I have not seen consistency enough from this team. And we're going to see it on the upcoming 5-game road trip when you play the likes of Washington and Carolina. Washington with Ovechkin, who got another massive output tonight. You know he's going to be driving every single game to try and catch Gretzky. And then you face Toronto in Toronto next week, and then on the second half of the back-to-back with Toronto and Montreal, you've got a Habs team. When you're finishing off the 5-game road trip, most times mentally the team at the end of a road trip wants to get home. And you know what's also going to compound that game? Montreal's going to want a measure of revenge for the embarrassment in this one. So maybe we'll get 3, 4, dare I say 5 losses on the road trip. Let's wait and see. I can't wait to find out, as long as it's not wins to give us false hope. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. As always, click a like if you like this video. Click subscribe if you really like it. You can find my social media by clicking on the channel name. Tell all your friends about Predemption. Stick to the plan, Preds. Tank like you've never tanked in 9 years.